Oh, let's do this now. All right, so
all right.
Quick overview, right?
Yes.
We're here out of our commitment to interacting with people who've chosen sobriety. And out of entering into recovery, we all have access to doing the kind of work it takes to build, what we call an extraordinary life.
Yes.
So the first and most priority is sobriety.
Yep.
And as we've discussed, and if this is your first video,
good luck.
I'm still pulling that card. What we're looking at is the transition from the value of avoiding when we begin recovery, avoiding people, places, things, thoughts, feelings, actions, and how necessary that is. Creating a routine, building security within our process, behavior to work through accessing sobriety.
Yeah.
Creating a foundation for our sobriety. Now, staying there 5 years later looks a lot like missing the opportunity to create our lives. And as we're noticing, people are left feeling dead, anxious, scared. So if you're watching this video and you're depressed, anxious, scared, and sober, it's okay. What's being missed is the creative act. In our last video, we began to explore the values or the virtues that arise out of choosing to create our lives and the thing we come up against, which is our identity, right? So let's talk about that. The moment we choose to move into creating our lives, the thing we're immediately coming up against is who I think I am. Am I valuable? Am I worth it? Can I do it? Can I handle it? That's all identity.
Yeah.
So now this week, and we can backtrack and further develop and riff on that. This week, what we're talking about is what occurs for us as the person's willing to explore the possibility that you are not your identity. And so you can bring to the table insights and breakthroughs that you've recently created for yourself as a result of participating in the advanced training. Why don't we do that now? Why don't we talk about your experience and your understanding of this construct identity, how it relates to sobriety, and then why don't we transition into experiences that you've had as a result of getting you are not your identity. How's that sound?
Love it.
Is that just about too much, or?
No. It's never too much. That's what she said. Fuck it. So yes. No. So yeah, the for me, really coming through from the past couple of videos we've done has really been a very valuable part of long-term sobriety that is so overlooked that I had never even thought about it. And this idea of identity was so pure to me that I was broken. I'm we're told in 12 steps in AA, show yourself as the addict, and again, makes sense at the beginning and it's necessary. But 5 years or 6 years or 2 years in, that's really when we need to start looking at, is that really my whole identity? And there's nothing to challenge us to do that. There was nothing to challenge me to do that. So I found it very easy to be so complacent in my doing what works because I'm a human who finds patterns, sticks to patterns. And for myself, as you've been following these videos, you've heard multiple times that after 7 or 8 years, I was dead. I was bored. I was alone. I was scared. Thought being safe was the way to go, but I was in more danger than ever. I had fucking planned my own death. Like that's, the idea of planning your own suicide and thinking you're safe is ludicrous, but that's what not risking anything did for me. And so,
all right, let's back that up, man. Let's do that again.
Do what again?
That was a lot right there. So you're sober and your life works, right? You're getting sober. You go to school, you get a degree, and you start working with people, and then 2 years in, you began to notice migraines. Is that right?
Why why are we backing up to that?
Well, because for me, that was a heavy hit. That was a big, I want to, where I'm coming from is really laying out the timeline that correlates to those choices.
Okay.
Does that seem important?
Yeah, I just didn't. Yeah, I needed kind of more explanation as to what's occurring as to backing up off of that. But I guess I can use that towards the end as more of a.
No, this is great. I think this is great. Stay with me, yeah, for just for a second.
Yeah.
So am I correct? You're 2 years sober and you started to notice migraines.
Yeah, it was both. I think so. Yeah, it was. It wasn't right away. It was definitely further into my sobriety. I can't. Yeah, so it would definitely have been about time that I was in school, finishing up school, 2016, 2017. Yeah, I started
Okay.
feeling migraines. Yeah.
Okay. And the migraines were terrible.
Yeah, yeah. They started off pretty sparingly, and then I was still able to function, but then they started progressively getting worse to the point where I was no longer able to uh, uh, go out as freely as I had before. I stopped playing golf. I stopped socializing even more than I had already stopped socializing. Really had taken myself out of the dating pool after my last relationship ended, and then that's when the migraines became all consuming.
Yeah, all consuming, great language, right? So how long are you inside of all consuming, and or what drove you to put a date on the calendar? We're going to kill yourself. Is this it? Is this what we're talking about? Sober, dead, migraines, not inspired in life.
Yeah, well, the migraines obviously was one of the biggest parts and aspects of it. There was a culmination of being isolated, alone, my being sober, but never being good enough in my own mind or somebody else's, or fearing that somebody else is believing this, and not experience anything outside of living in an apartment by myself.
Right. So how many people do we talk to who share a similar story? And I didn't know until recently that you put on the calendar a suicide day. I think that might be
Yeah.
in our last video, but I mean, I think it's important for people to hear your experiences to the extent that they can relate to and match with you and your experiences. If you're dead and depressed and you're processing suicide, you want to hear that there is possibility that you haven't already experienced.
Yeah.
That you haven't
Yeah.
already experienced. Why don't we walk into that? Why don't we walk into what occurred for you, relating to I'm not my identity, right? That's what we're talking about this week.
Mhm.
How, why don't you want to kill yourself anymore? What the hell's wrong with you?
So yeah, kind of back, that date, so it was after years of real nothingness that was, and that pain, living in depression and all the self that I was identifying my life with, uh, and really not moving forward. And I lost my job, a job that I was a primary therapist at a uh, rehab sober living environment, which was fucking awesome for me. I felt, for the most part, that I was doing very good. I was doing good for the people in my community. And when I lost that, and I lost that due to missing work, not being able to finish some of my assignments, also my reluctance to really listen to other people or conform, or my power struggle, all of these things kind of culminated into losing a job that I loved. And so in that moment, I'm home, miserable, no real future outside of hoping I do things that the world will just change. And I set, 20 days out of a month, I'm into migraines, I'm alone. And so, I set a date to kill myself based on what else was there? There was really no other reason to survive if all I was going to be doing was what I was doing, being
Yeah,
miserable
we
and
got
in
to tie
pain.
this in though. I mean, we're repeating the same thing here. We need to
You just
develop
asked
this.
me to talk about it.
Right, but we're not developing it by looking at the identity. What's the identity that's occurring for you? That's I'm going to kill myself.
Losing my job and the identity of, I mean, everything I was just discussing was being dead, alone. There was no future.
So I'm dead and there's no future is an identity. I'm
Okay,
dead
so
or there is no future. That's not identity. What's the identity there that's occurring? What's the identity that's driving no future? What's the identity that's driving? I'm dead.
I'm broken. That I have PTSD. I'm broken. Uh, there's nothing. This is all happening outside of me. This is a physical affliction with my migraines from PTSD in the war,
Right.
TBI, and all of that. That identity, that idea of.
So you were trapped in that identity.
Yeah, that I was broken. That I am PTSD. I am living, sober but dead. There was, all of these external identities that I was using, even the therapy thing. Now that's been taken from me. So now I'm back to I'm broken. I'm useless. No one wants me. And so,
Yeah,
that's when I.
these are aspects of your identity that are dictating your behavior.
Mhm.
So as that aspect of your identity was dictating your behavior, you were left no freedom to make choices, to dates, to golf, to go out.
Yeah,
Is that right?
it get constricted to the point where I felt there was no other choice besides sitting in a room with blackout curtains and hoping medical field finds out what's wrong with me.
Right.
There was nothing outside of that, and really, what's the point of living if that's what life is?
Right. So what now do you see? Like, what do you see now in relation to the same reality? What's different? I think my question's shit. Let's see if we can develop it.
Well, that's a very big leap from back then to now. I mean, there's a lot that's happened.
Yeah, but well, just make the leap. Bring it, make the entire leap, come directly into now and look back and say, this is how I fucked up. This is how I screwed myself. This is how I trapped myself. Well, first, you want me to stop?
Well, so am I speaking on where I am now or where I went wrong? Or
I think that's the same.
well, where I am now is, being, I'm creating these opportunities in my life and really, being a part of a community.
No. Yes, that's occurring. Yes, I get that. My question is misleading you. We just spoke to the identities that correlated to you being stuck. You've had a breakthrough in those identities, but people don't know watching this video that you've had a breakthrough in those identities. They've watched other videos and they got that you're not going to kill yourself and you don't have the migraines anymore. Let's just say a few, a lot less, etc. But what they don't know, the insights that you got, gotten's not a word, right? That you've created. So if you stand today and you look back at the reality that existed, let's just say a year ago.
Yeah.
How were you creating that identity? And how can you have the person watching get why is there a difference for you today than last year? Do you want to rearrange the question?
Well, I think, I think, if I can go, I'll go this way with it. So, looking back on my life and how everything was, it was this idea of outside creation, or things were kind of happening to me, or this, the reliance on, what's happened to me is my identity, or really key points as being the only things that really created me, or really dictated my life. Whereas now is I see how much control I did have, or didn't know I had, but
so now you see you have control.
yeah, now I see I have choice. I have, the ability to make something and not just be a part of whatever's happening, or be a victim of my circumstances.
So finish this statement. I didn't get that.
I didn't get that I had a choice. I didn't get that I had control, or that there was things that I was doing that dictated how I felt or dictated migraines. I mean, that didn't even fucking cross my mind. I mean, it just,
Created,
that wasn't happening. Yeah,
created, right?
the idea that I was creating migraines, creating my own misery, was beyond my comprehension. It wasn't something that it was even considered.
Okay, without giving away the process, uh,
Yeah.
really because you can't, but more like see if you can get heard. How did you do that? Like,
How did I do that?
yeah, shit, I get it. How did you come to see?
Okay. That now I was created, now I can create differently. So yeah, through, a big part of the story was the outreach from you to me in that moment. Shortly after making the date to kill myself, was I get a call from you. I start this unheard of program, TMD. I have no idea what it was. Now, as I start doing it, I start being able to see more things that I didn't know I wasn't seeing.
But how? Bring, can you,
I'm setting up the environment to
okay, I'm
show how.
excited. I'm excited. Go ahead.
Please be excited. So, in this environment of TMD, and being able to finally connect with people and stop choosing isolation, or choosing to just be the victim of migraines, or whatever. I start, I began being, or seeing choice, or they get me fucked up in my head.
Look, here's the thing. That you see choice you didn't wake up one day and all of a sudden I saw choice.
Yeah.
You had to walk through what?
Pain and the process of learning about programming. I mean, there's,
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, without getting into the process alone, the idea that this thing we've discussed before about programming, or this
I'm
idea
programmed.
of, yes, yeah, the idea that I am programmed, and that I'm seeing my life through lenses of that programming, of the identity that I believed I had, the identity that I chose to keep upon myself. And as this process started, and instead of running from the pain and doing the avoidance thing that I've been doing for my entire life, I
Right.
started learning about sitting with it and staying with the pain and pushing through the pain, and being in a community that allows you to do that, without enabling, without telling you that oh, it's fine, you're going to be okay. So through this identity, through this community, and through this working through the pain, understanding that the lenses I'm looking through weren't put on me, but I put them on myself.
And aren't who
Uh,
you are.
and yeah, these lenses were not a built-in product. It's something that
Yeah.
I was choosing. That programming was having the choice to use, to avoid, to have this false identity that was of someone who's so broken and helpless he can't do anything for himself. So he needs to work on just his charm, and have, conning people into liking him in order to survive, which is not who I am. That was the lenses that my programming chose to use in that moment, in that time,
That
and
right
there
there's
was
an insight.
to
You
avoid.
got that there was a lens,
Yeah,
which means you, to get that there, you're holding a pen. Like imagine if you didn't know you were holding a pen.
yeah.
You had to first come to see that you were holding a pen, and to
Mhm.
get that you were holding, you had to be able to let it go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to get that, I was seeing also the community aspect of it. If I thought that pen was my finger, and then someone's like, "That's not your fucking finger. That's a fucking pen."
Okay. So other people were confronting you on your belief structures that you
Yeah.
thought were real.
Along with the learning that I don't have to, that there's a choice. It's not just I'm living with this pen finger. It's I now have a choice that I can let it go, which that choice wasn't known to me before, or even if it was, I wasn't allowing that to, or my
Look,
programming wasn't allowing, and my identity was not allowing myself to understand that I could let it go.
right.
So the
People don't want to get
culmination,
that.
no, no, no,
Why?
because
Why don't people want to get that? Why do we have people participating currently in our group now that don't want to get that they're actually choosing this pain? Like, to such an extent, listen to me, to such an extent, people will kill themselves versus getting that they have access to choice.
yeah,
This is what
and
we're talking about.
of course, yeah. I mean, it's living proof, if not now witnessing it in others. Of course, the idea that killing yourself is a momentary pain, fleeting, and having this haunting idea of what transformation is and the possibility, or the fact that I'm so broken it's not going to happen anyways, or these stories that we tell ourselves, the programming, the lens that again is not built in but put on through the lens of I'm broken, my identity is I'm a broken piece of shit, I'm never going to get it anyways, so why bother, and never challenging that or actually having the that emotional capacity to stand there and take some of that pain in order to realize that it is just a fleeting thing and it isn't who you are, that it's a lot easier to run, and it's embedded in sobriety, it's embedded in recovery to run, to stay away from these things. So we're coming across, and again living proof of it, of not just human nature of fight or flight, but now ingrained in 12 steps and early sobriety, and it works, that if you avoid, you survive, you get sober. That can be, and that my identity was avoid. That idea of I will be so skilled at avoiding or not being confronted or hurt, that's who I am now, was a part of my life and my structure, and those lenses that I put on.
I want to talk about the married couple.
Okay.
So we know a married couple
We do.
that's participating in our curriculum.
Yeah.
And we just completed a process with them a few days ago. We completed a process with the group, but they really facilitated they read their experience. I want to talk about what you're seeing there. I want to talk about, so I'll go first and then I want your feedback on it. She believed that he was the problem, and he believed that he was the problem. And inside of that, they were disconnected.
Yeah.
And yet they're married and have a baby. And so in the past, their relationship looked like being disconnected, which is their identity. So their identities are forming a relationship, whereas he believed he's broken, so I'm broken. Mm-hmm. And she believed that other people were the problem that she had to take care of. He's broken, I have to take care of him. Mm-hmm. So her identity is I have to save people, I have to take care of people. So their identities are connected, which then correlated to being emotionally disconnected and dead. So you could look at them and you could see, versus looking at yourself and sharing, and see the work that they had to go through. You remember them when they began, and in the first course, and then the second course, now in the third course. You want to speak to and bring us into your experiences of being with them, in relationship to sobriety and identity and long-term recovery?
I think there's that idea of, especially in addict families, we see this, and I see this all the time, of the addict's broken, they believe they're broken, the family believes they're the problem. They believe they're the problem. So it's a great escape for that programming to really say I'm the wife of an addict, or I'm the husband of an addict, or I'm the father of an addict, and really kind of get that pity party, or that that sweet release of having no responsibility. Right? It's my life sucks because of this asshole, and it's not my fault. It's somebody else's. And so we create that. We have a tendency of creating reality that fits that false identity. So by a spouse or somebody being with someone who's broken, now they have proof that their identity is real, they're right, this person's broken, and I'm here to fix them or save them, and continues this idea of, now that I'm with this broken person, I'm somebody who can save people, or I'm somebody who needs to save people. I'm always the one who's got to save people, even though you started a relationship with a broken person that you would have to save. It's not fucking news, but we choose these things thinking that it's not this preconceived notion around our identity of Florence Nightingale, or whoever, whatever fucking fictional character you want to use. That construct, and for the married couple, it was very easy to see that on the outside, and doing the work with them and seeing them, that there was that construct of this identity, and that he was broken, she would save him because he is broken. She needed him to be broken. He needed to be broken in order for this false identity to stay alive.
So the only thing that could exist in that dynamic, right, in that relationship dynamic, is being emotionally disconnected and dead.
Yeah, any sort of connectivity or connection would result in those false walls falling down, or starting to shake.
Oh, and any connection would confront that. Yeah, well, unless the connection existed inside of their dynamic, right? Thank you for taking care of me. I'm sick and broken. And she says, you're welcome. Like you've got connection that exists inside of that act, that dynamic.
Yeah, like I said, it's not breaking down the walls, but it's shaking them. And
okay.
that fear, that alarm that goes off of even not, even slight connection can be scary, or slight. And so that idea of having to connect, or the chance to connect, whether radically or in a false way, will send them running back and say like, nope, that scared the shit out of me before, or that's all obviously internal. They think they're doing everything just as we all do. We all believe we're doing what's right, and we're making the best decisions for ourselves. But
Yeah.
on the outside, everyone else sees they're the same thing. So, and
emotional disconnection. Everything you're discussing correlates to then the emotional disconnection or the perpetuation of the existing identity. I'm broken on one side, I'll save you on the other. That's what you're explaining, right? That's what you're able to see.
Yeah.
But you're also seeing two people come together.
Yeah, that was that process before and during, and now we're seeing something very different. Seeing some same behaviors come out, but these two people are in different rooms on the first call in the same house, and then now, I dare say I've seen him hold her hand once or twice. It's
and look each other.
Crazy for me, but I get it.
The point we're focused on here is that the collapse of who I think I am correlates to the type of connection or aliveness that we're all looking for. And so somehow in this video, we're looking to relate to people that your commitment to truly creating your life exists as a result of transcendence, or breaking through this notion of who I think I am, my past, who my family is, what my fears are. So as a result of moving through fears, doubt, disbelief, pain, as a result of moving through barriers to performance, what's left is a freedom to create your life, like a plane breaking the sound barrier. You have the sound here, and you have the plane over here. But literally the barrier sound is now behind the plane. And the plane is inside of this freedom, quiet. Literally, there's no sound.
So yeah, that's a great analogy. What, you didn't explain the first part. The first part is what makes sense to me. Like that idea of that resistance, the shaking, turn away, like that. I think it's a necessary part to explain, the idea of flying in the sound. Yeah, I think. Could you explain the first part? Because that's a great fucking analogy.
Yeah, movement into the pain.
Yeah, and not letting that turbulence make you run. We're seeing it with someone in our two people
Yeah,
in our community
what I
now.
was talking about is the result of transcendence, right?
But how do you
not
get there?
the process by which. Yeah, we can address the process by which for sure. And so looking at the married couple and the experiences that they're having exist as a result of people transcending themselves. And so we can further explore that by looking at how people go about doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
What did that married couple have to work through? Well,
Well, you said
ultimately,
it, right? The pain. You said you already talked about that, right? You talked
yeah.
about having to get through the pain and all these things. And so,
Oh, yeah, their identity.
yeah.
They had to work to, specifically he had to work through that I'm broken. And she had to work through that I need to save you.
Yeah. It's a big same here. It's how you get through the process. That's why I think hitting that turbulence in not running, which is what I've done my entire life, and what your identity has been made to be, is someone who is being safe and who needs to secure that identity by running back, because that's what breaking that turbulence means. Is now I don't have that identity that I've had.
Right.
Now I have a chance to create an identity, which means chance of failure and oh my god, I could lose, or that's a risk. Whereas back here, I don't have to do that. I
Right.
can kill myself and not have to deal with shit back here.
Right.
But this turbulence, which means quote unquote bad, in that my identity in my programming says turbulence bad. That
Yeah.
means
Well,
shit's
anger,
going crazy.
sadness, rejection, fear is turbulence for the plane, right? The plane has turbulence.
Yeah.
Human beings have feelings, emotion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That emotional, the high emotional reaction that we associate, just like pain, anger, sadness, we
Yeah.
associate with bad, just like turbulence associates bad.
Yeah.
So all these
Yeah.
associations that we had that are saying don't do this,
Right.
we that's the process that we go through in TMD, and that I've gone through, and that the couple's gone through, that everyone I've seen who actually accepts that their identity is bullshit, and
Right.
that they're not just fucking broken losers.
Yeah.
They can fucking get over themselves for at least a day and a half to actually listen and try to become something better than what they thought they've chosen, or they survived. So now you break through that pain and you have that new association with that, and that identity is no longer what we hold on to.
Yeah.
That's
Movement
not what I'm
into.
holding on to.
Yeah. There's no around. There's no over. There's only through. Right. There's only into.
Yep. That's why I love that fucking. I talked to the husband yesterday about it. I talked to him about that same analogy. I think it's a perfect analogy of all of the work that we do in TMD is fucking in that association of turbulence bad, pain bad, all of this bad, and no longer just giving up. And that's all I did for the last 32 years of my life, was giving up. It
Yeah.
was easy to give up. It's very easy to give up. And that's your answer to the question about why don't people wanting to be happy, or get to this point where they are in that sound and they are free to choose. It's because giving up's fucking easy as shit. Like, giving up's easy.
Yeah.
I've experienced giving up. I haven't experienced joy. I know what giving up feels like. I don't know what that feels like. So, that choice to, or that belief that all I do is give up, and that's my identity, is I'm a quitter, so this is what I do. It's easy to fall back to that. It's hard to get through it. And even at my worst, I was given an opportunity in TMD that I do not believe if somebody challenged me in another form that I would have been able to get through this. And I've taken millions of different types of medications and therapies, and there are some therapies worked really well. Exposure therapy worked very well for my PTSD. A lot of things have worked, but in sections of my life. TMD has given me the opportunity to not just build up sections, but create a new identity, to have a chance to be the person that I choose to be, not the person that I think I was made to be. And that's what TMD means to me. I mean, there's so much it means, and that's a big part of this.
By your trauma. Your trauma says this is who you are. Is that what you mean? Or your past or your parents, this is who you are.
Everything.
Is that?
Yeah, the trauma, my culture, my the working class Irish background, the Italian actor father. I mean, I'm a fucking walking conundrum. There's a million identities that I had that I used to, I mean, I give a challenge to everyone to, fully give me your identity. And you can't. And people think that's their identity when it's not. These are all aspects that I've chosen to be a part of my identity now.
Yeah, that we buy
And
into.
yeah, back then, yeah, that's what we did it. We had to buy into. That's all we thought we had.
Right. And then the result of buying into this identity for the married couple, for yourself, was deadness, disconnection, etc. Right. So what we're looking to do is to introduce people to the notion that through experiences, human beings can transform who they think they are and arrive at choosing and designing themselves and their future. So the idea is, I am not my identity.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Very important part.
Yeah. Right? It's not me. It's me.
Yep.
It's not.
Do you mean me or me?
Right.
Because there's me and then there's me.
Right.
Get it? Can't forget the bunny ears, man.
Yes. Appreciate the coaching.
All the time. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Get your shit together.
I am flawed and broken.
Huh. I don't know if you knew this, but you're broken. I'm going to pray for you.
Thank you. It's very kind. Very kind.
Flying spaghetti monster.
I mean, are we getting across, can people see what's truly possible for them is my intention in this video. Do you want to speak to the experiences that you've had recently? I'm thinking about your participation in the advanced training.
Mhm.
How have you felt as you've moved through the advanced training? Like during the week as a result of processes?
There's, the gambit, there's a lot of, the nervousness and anxiety and, but what's very important is my relationship to those feelings are very different now. So the anxiety before a seminar is no longer a quote unquote bad anxiety. And then during the week, there's, I've been feeling when it comes to my community and my work at TMD empowered, then I would go to work. I'm working at a methadone clinic right now, and I believe methadone's a great medication. I'm very open about my own. I have chosen to be open about my own methadone treatment and how much it's helped my life and my transition through that. But this identity, this my job that I was miserable at my job. Right? I was very happy and empowered by my creation in my personal life, in the life outside of my job. And so, really, one thing that came across after one of our seminars, one of the video portions, and really very powerful part of the advanced training was I have a chance to create something beautiful. I'm now given an opportunity to not just do what my old identity was. My old identity was to walk into something and be, great and wonderful and have everyone love me and have nothing to do with the creation because creation means danger, risk. So the identity that I had was not a risk taker, a safe person. That was my belief structure prior to TMD. And now I see risk, my relationship to it is very different. And so I made the choice this past week to resign from my position as a counselor and the safety of a job, a 9 to 5er, or more like a 6 to 2er, which caused other issues in my life, but that'll also kind of get better as I move forward. But um, that's fucking terrifying for someone who has recently created new identity that isn't safe. My identity would not allow, my old identity would not allow me to do this.
Right.
The idea of creation is just not something that he could do. Just it can't happen.
Right.
I'm a failure. I'm a loser.
Right.
You're just gonna fuck it up anyway. So wait till someone better than you does it. Show up, be better than them, and show that you're so great at everything that people maybe won't see that you're broken. And now I have an opportunity to create something and prove to the world, myself, my community that I'm here for my world, my community, and myself. And that's it. There's really that's the most pure identity I've had. Is I am I am creating something for my community. And so, my plan is, or what I've done is resign from that job, 30-day notice, and fully devoting my life and my future to creating with TMD in sobriety, in recovery, in veterans assistance and veterans recovery. And that's what I'm choosing to be my identity. A
Risk.
new risk, taking chance, creation. That's not who I was.
Yeah. So you
That's
see
who
the value for risk.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the freedom, the identity, the release of that identity is giving you access to that, the freedom, the risk.
So what my biggest message in this video and really all of my other work here is to make sure it comes across as one, the possibility of a choice eventually if there is an openness to really taking that one little risk of actually reaching out to someone. But my the for me it was a construction of a world that supported a false identity. I spent years constructing a world that supported my false identity. Isolation was a way for me to show that I was broken, that I was to prove that that false identity was real. It was if I had people in my life, can't be broken. So people, for me and a lot of other people, the idea is, your identity is so real. You're a victim. I'm a survivor. I'm a broken person or whatever. That we really make our entire lives around these false identities, and then we fight for them so fucking hard. It's such a real fight that we have to hold on to these because it's safe. It's easier than taking a chance. And when I say it's easier, it's not fucking easier. Blowing my brains out is not fucking easier than sitting through some pain.
They're making a call. Yeah.
Yeah, or any of this shit. I mean, it's just and so what I really want to get across to people is the false belief that you have that oh I'm okay, or I'm fine now and I can deal with this for now, or it's gonna get better. It's not gonna get fucking better by itself. You're not gonna get fucking magically cured someday. This is not better than feeling some pain and working through it. It's just not. It can't be. I'm living the other side And even with the fucking struggles I have here and there with my old identity, my identities now, my whatever it is, it pales in comparison of making a date to blow my fucking brains out. It just can't even be in the same realm. So, my what I really intend to get across to people is that there is way more than just accepting your fate in this world and believing who you are right now is it. It's not it. You're not broken. You're not some piece of shit who deserves to be miserable, or you're not fucking supposed to be curing everyone and helping everyone but yourself. There's more. And through TMD, I was given the opportunity to have people notice something in me and tell me, but also open up that freedom for me to hear them and do the work and let go of that pen or hit that turbulence and keep going. In a structured setting that was supportive but challenging, that I wouldn't have done if my programming was strong in more control or whatever. I'm really imploring people to take up the charge of making their own lives and their own identity now, and stop making their lives fit their identity and thinking it just fucking happened, because it didn't. My life didn't end up this way because it happened to me. I chose it. That was that identity. Now I'm fucking choosing differently. That's very important for people to hear.
Awesome. That was great. Thank you very much for being here today. And we have a few more videos to go.
Yes.
This is 7.
So it's 3 more, Peter. 3 more. I know math is not your strong suit.
We all have strengths
and weaknesses.
And weaknesses. All right. I don't know why. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So we're talking about new behaviors next week. And as we move into and explore the new behaviors, what isn't down here is language, and you're creating a new relationship to language.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and agreements. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Paul. We're going to keep this ball rolling. Create a great description.
Got you that today.